In a world where money often speaks louder than humanity, there are still moments when a single act of kindness changes everything. Today's story is not just about a mechanic and his boss. It's about a choice between greed and compassion, between rules and humanity. When a poor mechanic fixed an old lady's car for free, he never imagined it would cost him his job. And his boss never imagined it would cost him his future. Welcome to Miracles of Kindness, where small good deeds create life-changing consequences. Sit back, listen carefully, because this story proves one truth. Kindness is never forgotten. He didn't hesitate. When the old lady said she had no money, the mechanic simply smiled and fixed her car anyway. To him, kindness wasn't a favorite, it was a responsibility. But his boss saw something else: lost profit, broken rules. Within minutes, the mechanic was fired, his toolbox in hand, dignity bruised but heart intact. What no one noticed was the old lady standing silently nearby, watching everything. She didn't argue, she didn't cry, she simply nodded, as if committing the moment to memory. Because some acts of kindness don't end the same day. Some take time, and when they return with power. The boss believed kindness was weakness. Business is business, he said, as he fired the poor mechanic for fixing a car for free. The mechanic walked out with nothing but his tools and his values. That night, he wondered how he'd survive. Days later, the boss stood confident, until a single phone call shattered his certainty. The old lady's car wasn't just old. Her story wasn't just sad, and her gratitude wasn't small. Greed had cost him more than money. It had cost him respect, and soon, everything else. The mechanic fixed the car quietly, grease on his hands, compassion in his eyes. The old lady thanked him with trembling hands. Then the boss stormed in, fired, instantly. What the boss didn't realize was this: the old lady had seen it all, the shouting, the cruelty, the injustice. Days later, when the truth surfaced, the shop that once echoed with arrogance fell silent. Because kindness may be quiet, but injustice is always loud when exposed. The mechanic needed that job, but when faced with a choice between money and mercy, he chose mercy. His boss chose greed, and greed fired him. Days passed, bills piled up, hope felt thin. Then destiny intervened. The same kindness that got him fired became his greatest qualification. While the boss searched for loyalty, the world rewarded integrity, because dignity lasts longer than any paycheck. They saw an old woman with a broken car. The mechanic saw a human being. The boss saw a loss. Days later, they learned the truth. She was not powerless. And gratitude, when carried by the right hands, can rewrite destinies. The mechanic's life changed forever. The boss's reputation collapsed just as fast. Never underestimate someone asking for help, and never underestimate someone willing to give it. The boss quoted company policy. The mechanic followed his conscience. One kept his job, one lost everything, or so it seemed. Days later, the rules that protected greed failed, and the humanity that cost a job built a future. Some rules keep order, others kill compassion, and history always remembers who chose correctly. The mechanic walked away unnoticed, but kindness leaves fingerprints. Days later, his name resurfaced in places he never imagined. The boss, still counting profits, until the numbers stopped adding up. Kindness doesn't announce itself, it waits, and then it speaks louder than power. The boss thought the story ended when the mechanic left. It didn't. It was only paused. Days later, consequences arrived. Calm, firm, undeniable. The mechanic gained opportunity. The boss gained regret. Time doesn't forget what people do when no one is watching. It was a simple fix. A few tools, a few minutes, but it exposed everything. Who valued money? Who valued people? Days later, the mechanic stood taller than ever. And the boss? Shorter than his own shadow. Because sometimes one free repair reveals a lifetime of character. The mechanic lost his job for doing the right thing, but he never lost himself. Days later, the world reminded everyone watching, kindness is never wasted. It only travels quietly, until it returns loudly. The mechanic walked away that day with empty pockets, but a full heart. The boss stayed behind with power, but no peace. Days later, fate revealed what money never could. That character outlives authority, and kindness outlasts cruelty. If this story touched your heart, remember this lesson. You may lose a job for doing the right thing, but you will never lose your worth. Thank you for watching Miracles of Kindness. If you believe the world needs more compassion, like this video, share it and subscribe, because every miracle begins with a single kind act.